What's up, guys? It's Matt here. Thank you for everything that you've done. I had time to kind of reflect on things, and I went to my uncle and my aunt's gravesite, and I've done something I've never done, which I kind of feel like I do it every day being here, but you guys feel like I feel connected to you. I know who's coming here, I know who's commenting, I know who the subscribers are, so it's like we're having that conversation in a way. But I did something that I've never done, which felt like a kind of a therapy session, was just talked. And talked to my uncle, talked to my aunt, and just told them everything that was going on, told them any of the hardships that I've had, since their passing. And I've had time to kind of reflect on what has been given to me in this world. And this is why I try and be as generous as I possibly can. Um, People tell me all the time, like once you get a certain amount of money and you show people you have money, they just continue to ask you for things. And I think uh, within reason, you should be willing to help. Obviously, you don't want to bankrupt yourself or stop yourself from paying any bills or anything like that. Um, but I just try and give, right? I just want to help everyone, and I don't expect anything in return. I don't expect anything back. If you feel like, you can bring, value or do something for me, then that's great. But I never expect anybody to give me anything back. Um, I just want to help. I've been that person, right? That was in need when I was a kid. You know, uh, we had a really, really rough life to where there were days where I didn't eat, and I never showed it on my face because then, that's, kind of like social suicide in school. I there are days where I didn't eat and I depended on school lunches, and then in the summertime there were literally multiple days where I didn't eat a thing and still moving around and doing everything like I just was had a full meal. Everybody else said, oh, I got to go in for dinner, and I would just be like, me too. When in reality, I had nothing to eat. I had nothing to go to. And the more I was outside and the more I was with my friends, the less I thought about how hungry I was, you know. Um, and it was just tough, right? It's difficult, when you're with a single parent, either way, whether it's my dad or my mom, and you have three other children to take care of, and it's like you're limited on the amount that you can eat, you could spend all of that stuff. So it was definitely a difficult life, and reflecting on that, obviously I got through that to where I started working, before their passing and everything, and started doing well for myself. And now I feel as though I'm doing great. But I had a chance to reflect on what has happened in the last year, and I'm not going to take that all for granted. I'm going to continue to look at that and remember what I went through this year as well as the year before that. And I just want to tell you guys, because I literally have only told one person what went on in 2023, um, and where my mindset was. I haven't even told my wife this, and the only person I've told was my sister, and we talked about it literally 2 days ago. So it's definitely difficult as a man. You always want to provide as much as possible, um, but it's difficult when you feel as though you can't, right? Um, and I think the only thing that pushes you forward is either yourself, you get up and you say, I'm going to do this, or, you just give up. And I think what makes us men, what makes us strong, um, is the fact that we're willing to get up. We're willing to say, we'll figure it out, and I just want to talk about, this time. So, um, guys, if you could hit the like button, I would greatly appreciate it. because we try and grow on this channel, and I just want to, if anybody needs this message, to let this message go out to as many people as possible, because sometimes you just need that little bit of like, oh, everybody goes through this. And so let's start in 2021. In 2021, I ended up leaving my position, my job, making $100,000 a year as a senior financial analyst for a hospital system, and I loved my job. I just didn't really like the direction that they were going, and I'll leave it at that. I'm not really gonna dive deep into that. If you want to know more about that, I think I have a video explaining why I left my 100,000 a year job. So feel free to go and check that out. But after I left that job, I knew that I had YouTube to fall back on, and I had a little bit of money from the 401k. I had money from the severance package that I got, so I knew I was good for that year. So the rest of 2021, it was in February, so the rest of 2021 was good. 2022 came along. If you didn't know, 2021 was a bad time in the crypto market where things did drop. Views also dropped. But I was reliant on some of the money that was still coming in, the videos that I was putting out, live streams, all of those things. And I was good for that year as well as a half a year into 2022. But as you know, things started to drop down, views continued to drop. In 2023, I could tell you that was my roughest time I've dealt with as an adult. Um, did I have money in reserve? Yes. Did I have money in my crypto, portfolios? Yes. Was I as broke as I was when I was a kid? No, not even close. But it definitely was tough to where I was like, I want to remain in the crypto market, but I don't know how long we can remain in the crypto market if we're not seeing any type of revenue or anything like that. And it was tough. It was very tough. Um, as a man, you never want to admit when you hit a rock bottom, but since I kind of hit that rock bottom and realized what I was doing and worked my way through it, I can talk about that. You never want to talk about it during, because if you talk about it during, it makes you think about it too much and sad, and you might end up having a higher chance of giving up. But during that time, views were down, revenue was pretty much at its lowest. I think my lowest that I received is within the month, I would I had like $2,000, $3,000 that I gained, which sounds like a lot compared to what you can gain even at a regular job. But we have to also factor in the fact that I have to pay taxes. And during that time, as we get to, the April area, I now need to pay taxes on the money that I made. So the previous money that I made in the previous year, I need to pay taxes on that. Well, it was difficult because I didn't just run through it. Like, we were paying bills, and student loans hit at that exact same time, and I think they're deferred now, but we ended up paying those off. But still, it all hit at once. Car payments, or buying out your car, whatever. Like, it all hit at once, and it's like there's a lot that we're paying right now, and we honestly can't afford it. And it was definitely stressful, going back and forth trying to figure out, um, how do I budget this? How do I save this? How do we cut from here to here? How do we not completely limit the fact that we want to spend a little bit of something, maybe a $500 miscellaneous budget instead of $2,000, or all of that. Like, I was trying to bring everything together, and at times we were literally pulling from savings. We were pulling from the investment account, the crypto portfolio. I pulled $8,000 from Ethereum, and that was when Ethereum was at $1,000 per coin. I could have had that grow by 3x at this point, 4x, even up to the highest point that I got to in 2024. And I'm upset with myself because I I had nowhere to go. And at one point, I was literally down here, and I was just thinking about it, and I was just tearing up for like 2 days. Like, I didn't know what to do. Like, it was rough because I felt as though money was being drained faster than, was coming in. And I could see it before my eyes, but I couldn't do anything about it because those were just natural bills and student loans and the personal loan and the car loan and all of those things. And I was like, this is not where we should be. As a person that, loves finance and understands budgeting and um, you know, does that for a living or did that for a living, it made no sense for me to be in that spot. Um, so I stepped back because I was literally at a point to where I was like, I don't know what to do. Like I, I can't do anything because I work as hard as I can, but no matter what I put out, I still only get a certain amount that comes in the door, but we're always paying this amount out, whether it's $5,000 or $6,000, a month out to different places, whether it's mortgage or, like I said, car loans, student loans, daycare. It was just all of those things. Um, and I think one of those days that I sat down here and basically like cried, I was like, I'm not doing this. Like I'm not getting into a situation where I can't dig myself out of. So if you didn't notice, at one point I streamed for like 8 hours, 10 hours. I streamed through the night. I was working as hard as I possibly could and trying to do as much as I can, reaching out to different projects to see what they're on, reaching out to different companies to see if I can get sponsorships. I buckled down to work as hard as I possibly could in order to dig us out of what little hole it was, but that hole was getting deeper and deeper and deeper. It was a situation where I don't feel proud about being a financial analyst, having as many degrees as I have in finance and accounting and not accounting for our own financial situation. It was tough and definitely tough to admit. That's why it takes me or it took me this long to even admit it here and still really haven't admitted it to Erica that I was in a tough spot. It makes me feel vulnerable, makes me feel like I can't do my job and I'm not doing it the right way. So, anyways, I buckled down. I worked as hard as I possibly could. Um, while 2023 was a year to where I only made 27, no, yeah, 29,000 dollars in YouTube revenue. Um, when we got to 2024, we actually got to the end of 2023 where we saw Terra Luna Classic make a move. I was on vacation and I was even, streaming, and that was the best month that I've had by far because of what Terra Luna Classic did, because of where the market was going from October to where December was, and I wanted to just work, 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 work. And I'm glad that I decided to do that. Everybody told me, no, you know what? You should stop. You deserve a day off. If I would have taken that day off, I would have become more lazy. I would have become it's not even that I was lazy. I would have basically said, "Oh, well, you know what? I could just do a couple of videos," and I would have felt that way for the rest of the year. But the fact that I didn't made me push, made me want to do as best as I possibly could. And then came along the Marjex partnership, and it's been amazing, working with them and building and being able to leverage trade. If you guys want to check out my Marjex link, it's at the top of the description. Um, but they alone have done so much for me, as well as the grind that I put in throughout the year. But this was definitely tough. And I can say that now we're in a great spot, and it's not just because of me. Yes, I grinded to do what I could, but it's also because of you. And I know that it took me a while to get to this, to say thank you for everything, because without you guys, there is absolutely no me, and I could not do everything that I've done. I could not spend the time that I spend with my kids um, if it wasn't for you guys. You've done so much for me, and I appreciate it in the largest way. Throughout my early years of on YouTube, I would do giveaways. I appreciate you guys a lot, and there's times where I do giveaways here where I give XRP or Terra Luna Classic or something away, and I just appreciate you guys so much. So thank you everyone for getting me through this, because there's so many things that factored into me getting through this, and it wasn't just me buckling down. It was you guys showing up every day. It was the positive comments that I do see. It was the conversations back and forth. It was the support on live streams. It's so much that you guys do, and I appreciate that so much. And now we're in a spot to where, if you haven't seen my net worth video, now we're in a spot to where we paid off Erica's student loans. We paid off her car. I paid off my car, and now I'm getting a new car. But I paid off my car. I've I still have my mortgage, but I don't know if I necessarily want to pay it down. I want to get rid of all my debts. People tell me not to, but I want to get rid of all my debts. And my net worth is at an astonishing, $600,000. And it's all because of what you guys did. It's all because of the grind that I put through. And sometimes you have to weather the storm. And I think this is the message that needs to be taken from this. Um, Everyone, and I mean everyone, is going to go through a rough patch, is going to go through a rough time. And I think you have to buckle down. You have to take some time to talk to yourself, talk to other people, and just think about what you are going to do to dig yourself out of that hole. It doesn't mean that it's the worst hole possible. Like, not when I was a kid, when I stayed in shelters and slept on the street and didn't moved over 30 times when I was in elementary school. Like that's a rough time. But everybody will go through a rough time as an adult, where you feel like you're not good enough, where you feel like you're not going to be able to provide for your family or do the things that you would normally do. But everyone has some sort of strong bone in their body to where you're like, I can do this. And you have to tell yourself that you can do it. It might be difficult to dig your way out of that hole. It might be difficult to even talk about it out loud, but find somebody to talk to it or talk about it to. For me, it was my uncle. Even though, he couldn't talk back to me, um, just sitting there and telling him about my life and the things that I've gone through, um, helped me, right? Helped me so much. And this is something we need more of in this world, is like just the conversation, what feels like it's therapy, but just hearing yourself talk, hearing yourself say these things that are going on in your life, and talking yourself out of a negative mentality. I mean, if we can take anything from Nike, right, just do it. Just do what you believe you can do. It's going to be rough, but you can get there. Right? Even people like Mr. Beast went through a rough time at that point, right? Even people like MKBHD, anybody that's on this platform have gone through a rough time before, they found their success. So hopefully, I hope that you guys can find uh, your success as well. I hope that you can find that voice, whether it's the inner voice or it's some other voice, um, to tell you that you can do it. Because yeah, these things can be rough. Even though I know I wasn't in the worst spot possible, but I knew that if I didn't do something about it, it would be. That I would have my children be in the same spot that I was in when I was a kid. Right? I don't want anybody to have to go through that. This is why I donate to No Kid Hungry. This is why I give back. This is why when somebody needs help in my family, I'm going to help them as best as I possibly can. Am I going to bankrupt myself? No, but I will try and help you as best as possible. So just be a good person. It's free to be a good person, but don't only be a good person to everybody else, be a good person to yourself. The one thing that I teach my children, and I feel like should be instilled in every single person, every single kid, every single human being, is to protect, or is to respect themselves. You know, if you respect yourself, you're going to go far in this world. So, anyways, thank you guys for listening to me. I know this is a 20-minute video, but I really just wanted to say thank you for everything that you've done. You guys are amazing. And I couldn't have done all of this, everything that I've done, without you. No matter if you were here for 1 day, 5 days, 5 years, I appreciate you so, so much. Um, well, hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video, and take care.